Out in the wild in rural Colombia, hidden landmines are scattered underground. We traveled to the regions that feed the world's drug trade and spoke with the people caught in between: children, farmers, and soldiers.
Y los que se van a ver directamente afectados son los del campo, que son los que están presentes en la violencia.
Colombia is at a turning point, facing growing polarization over how to end half a century of violence, and just elected a Trump-backed populist who promises to go after criminal groups with all guns blazing.
Los declaro objetivo militar y los voy a dar de baja. ¿Cómo corresponde?
On the first slopes of the Andes, the town of Uribe has been one of the most affected by the Colombian conflict. Even kids here know about landmines.
Si observamos acá, ¿qué vemos ahí? Es posible que sea un artefacto explosivo. Ahora, ¿será que me lo puedo llevar? ¡No! Exacto.
The army sends instructors to primary schools every month to hold classes like these.
They're using puppets and videos and cartoons. It can all seem very funny, but actually the core of the lesson is that in this part of the world, touching or even poking with a stick a weird object can be very dangerous.
Violence here is rooted in the past. While landmines have been used in Colombia for decades, attacks have grown in recent years. To understand better, we meet a demining unit from the army. A legacy of decades of guerrilla warfare, Colombia is one of the countries most affected by landmines in the world.
This unit uses dogs in order to detect the landmines. The sergeant was telling me that these dogs, he's capable of identifying explosive up to 13 centimeters or 4 inches underground. We're going to try to get a closer look.
Roman scans the surface with his nose. And when he smells something, he stops. It turns out it was a false flag, but the unit still has to dispose of a device they said they found this week.
We're now entering the active area where these 6 men are going to try to find as many landmines as possible.
Because these landmines are buried beneath the trees, the soldiers must detonate them where they find them, moving very carefully. A deminer can clear only 100 square feet of woods every day, and this unit has almost 10 acres to deal with in this location alone. A quick fuse
¡Fuego a la carga! ¡Fuego a la carga!
and the landmine is taken care of. Last year, Colombia recorded 137 landmine incidents. The future of Colombia's war on drugs are at the core of this month's presidential election.
We've arrived to the city of Barranquilla, which is the hometown of Abelardo de la Espriella, the right-wing candidate here. Everyone calls him Abelardo. I'm going to try to speak with some of his supporters.
Lastimosamente, el flagelo de la inseguridad nos está afectando y no podemos disfrutar de ella 100%. Y este es un candidato que nos está ofreciendo devolvernos la seguridad al país.
Before long, a confrontation erupts.
Falso, irrespetuoso. No, yo digo la verdad, porque ustedes están engañando al pueblo. Y yo también soy un ciudadano. Como tienes que estar perdido, me ofendes.
It's basically the two visions of Colombia being argued here on the sidewalk.
We decided to follow the gentleman in red. He voted for the left, and he's worried that conflict could spark again.
Y sabemos de que este tiene un plan de gobierno en el cual lo que busca precisamente es la paz, y por eso lo han criticado mucho al gobierno actual, lo han criticado mucho por eso. Sí ha sido una falla del gobierno actual porque no logró la paz, pero es que tampoco se puede lograr la paz en 4 años donde en 50 años nunca la lograron.
Behind armored glass, Abelardo de la Espriella has campaigned on the promise of a new offensive that includes joint operations with the US military. Even though he defended alleged drug traffickers in court as a lawyer before entering politics, His targets now are the very groups that deploy mines across the country. We joined Narcotics Police to Putumayo in the Colombian Amazon to see what the current strategy to fight the drug trade looks like. Colombia is the largest cocaine producer in the world, with 250,000 hectares of wildlands taken over by coca crops. Production remains at record levels despite government efforts to replace the plant with legitimate crops. Here, government officials are pitching farmers a new program. For every coca plant dug out of the ground, the state will provide seeds and financial support to switch to coffee or cacao. María Peña is one of the first to sign up.
Porque empezamos a mirar que en el territorio se nos estaban metiendo ya como mucho los grupos ilegales y lo que menos queríamos era volver a lo mismo. Entonces yo fui una de las primeras en mi comunidad que dije, yo le apuesto a la no más coca. ¿Por qué? Por mis hijos.
The outgoing government chose a new approach after the war on drugs left tens of thousands dead. Dubbed Total Peace, it meant engaging in negotiations with the insurgents rather than confronting them militarily. Critics, including Donald Trump, say the policy failed to make an impact. President Gustavo Petro told us almost 9,000 hectares of coca have been eradicated, and yet this small dent has been eclipsed by the surge in violent attacks.
Si esta estrategia es tan exitosa, ¿por qué Estados Unidos, por ejemplo, ha desertificado? ¿No hubo un fracaso diplomático en presentar esta nueva Colombia?
El gobierno del presidente Trump decidió la desertificación, pero ellos lo que estaban viendo era el crecimiento exponencial que pega en el comienzo de mi gobierno y no el programa ya en acción.
De la Espriella emerged victorious by the finest of margins and on the promise of a complete turnaround on Petro's peace efforts.
Well, Abelardo de la Espriella has just taken center stage. It's quite a spectacle, but this feels a pivotal moment in the history of Colombia. It feels Colombia can be set for a very, very tense time ahead if the other half of the country doesn't agree with those results.
Back at the school, teacher Martinez, who sees the scars of war every day in a town surrounded by minefields, says that neither strategy really convinces her. While Petro's negotiations allowed criminal groups to expand, de la Espriella's call to arms frightens many. She has a dream of a Colombia free from conflict, but how to get there remains an open question.